So I'm going to invite up to speak to us for a short while the chair of the Young Directors Forum of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Mrs. Folashade Akimoshiri. She is the Group Company Secretary of Nest Oil Limited, and this event has been due to her great guidance and leadership. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you very much. It is an honor for me to stand before you all. First and foremost, I'd like to pay homage and say a big thank you to the Chartered Institute of Directors for the opportunity, for trusting me with this responsibility to lead the young directors and to put together this program for today. I'm really very grateful. The young directors are very grateful, for the mentorship that we've received, and it has no doubt, improved our capacity and our competencies as professionals, and that is one of the reasons why we've put together this event. The protocols for the day will no doubt be put together by the President, who would read out the opening remarks for today. And but before I call him forward, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I thank all our council members. I thank most especially the President, Al-Aji, M. Borodo, CIoD, for being with us. I also thank all our council members. I thank our panelists for accepting to be with us today. We're really very grateful for the honor. We're not paying you. You're going to be sharing your wealth of experience with us and speaking to the theme of today's conference. And I know that at the end of the day, we're all going to be leaving with more knowledge, better prepared to set up businesses, and then, of course, close the funding deficit, which is one of the challenges that SMEs have. I'm not going to go into a lot of, I actually have a speech for today, but because time has really gone by, and we really need to get to the program of today. So thank you all very much for being here, and it is my pleasure to welcome up for his opening remarks, the President and Chairman of the Governing Council, Alhaji M. Borodo, CIoD. Mr. President, sir.
Our esteemed Chairman, Dr. Ernest, the Group Managing Director of Nestle Oil, our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Olasupo Olopsi, MD Bank of Agriculture, ably represented, Shade, the Chairman of Young Directors Forum, discussants, facilitators, and compare, members of the Governing Council here present. I can see the immediate past president. I can see the second vice president. I can see the first vice president virtually. I can see Alhaji Lamis Duko here. Fellows and members of the Institute, the chairman of YDF Conference Organizing Committee, Mrs. Yenka, members of the Young Directors Forum, our valued guests, associate partners, and sponsors, gentlemen of the press. It is an honor to welcome you all on behalf of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria to this conference themed Empowering MSMEs, Addressing the Funding Deficit. Today, we gather to address a critical issue affecting our economy. That is micro, small, and medium enterprises. I joined the chairman of the Young Directors Forum, Shade, to recognize and welcome the chairman of this conference, Dr. Ernest, the group managing director of Nestle Oil, and the keynote speaker, Dr. Olusi, that's the MD of Bank of Agriculture, ably represented. I appreciate you for gracing this occasion. My appreciation also goes to all of you, our distinguished discussants, facilitators, and moderators. The Young Directors Forum is one of the priorities of the Institute. That is the Chartered Institute of Directors Nigeria. The forum is a strategic creation of the Governing Council of the Institute and is critical to our future plans. At my inauguration as the President and Chairman of Council in 2023, I promise to intentionally beam such light on the growth of the Young Directors Forum and take it to the next level. Co-locating the Young Directors Forum Conference with the Institute of Directors Annual Directors Conference is a deliberate effort, which I have mentioned earlier on, to ensure inclusiveness and bring our young directors into the mainframe of corporate governance advocacy, which is this opportunity provides. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there are over 40 million SMEs employing more than 80% of the workforce and contributing almost 50% of our GDP. These enterprises are not just businesses. They are not just businesses. They are vital engines of economic growth, innovation, and job creation. Yet, despite their importance, they face staggering limitation in financing. There's a deficit of about $32.2 billion in financing gaps for this group of businesses. A survey by PwC, the survey reveals that 35% of businesses and owners identified inadequate access to finance as their primary obstacle. Our objective today is very clear. We aim to address the significant funding deficit, not only through exploring new and innovative approaches to finance, but also by ensuring this segment of our economy are equipped to take full advantage of the available opportunities. Our esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, corporate governance is a key element in this conversation. For young entrepreneurs, establishing strong governance structures from the onset is critical in positioning your businesses to attract affordable capital. The Chartered Institute of Directors in Nigeria has long promoted governance as an essential tool for business success, and we believe that adopting sound good corporate governance will help this sector of our economy to be sustainable. As we progress through today's discussions, I encourage each one of us to think critically about how to collectively address these challenges. Remember, empowering this segment of our economy is not only about providing financial support, but also creating a supportive ecosystem where innovation thrives and entrepreneurs flourishes. I would also like to thank the conference organizing committee led by Ayo for their dedication and for ensuring the success of this conference. In conclusion, I will appeal to all to remain focused on the broader mission of closing the funding deficit and unlocking the full potential of this sector of our economy. Nigerian MSMEs can continue to be a driving force for economic growth, job creation, and innovation with our combined efforts and resolution to address these financing challenges. I thank you for listening. I look forward to a robust discussion. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the address by the President and Chairman of the Governing Council. Another round of applause, please. Thank you very much, sir. You know, while you were speaking, it occurred to me that at some point, I think the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics needs to revisit the number of SMEs we have in Nigeria. Nigeria has over 200 million people. I think we have 200 million SMEs. Because almost every Nigerian that I know is either selling something or has something to make money with. And what else makes you a business apart from having something to sell and having money to make? And so that also shows the importance of the discussions that we are having here. Empowering our medium, small, and micro enterprises, most importantly, addressing the funding deficit. And that is because if you ask any business owner today, from the mom and pop shop all the way to giants like even Dangote and the likes. They will tell you they are still looking for money. So it's very important to ensure that our small businesses are not only ready for capital, are not only ready for funding, but also the funding is available and also affordable. So that it's not cutthroat funding that doesn't do any goal or any good to the businesses. Once again, thank you very much to the President and Chairman of Governing Council for that very, very amazing remark.
And right up next, we have our keynote speaker, Dr. Olashukwu Olusi. He's ably represented by Dr. Issa E. Omagu, who is the Chief Strategy and Development Officer, Divisional Head and Strategy Research in Bank of Industry. Our keynote speaker, Dr. Olashukwu Olusi, is the MD of Bank of Industry, and he has spent a lot of time transforming and driving economic initiatives. Let's take some time to listen to his keynote speech as we welcome his representative.
A round of applause for Dr. Issa Omagu, representing the keynote speaker.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Issa Omagu, as I've been introduced, and I'm presenting Dr. Olashukwu Olusi, the MD of Bank of Industry, the foremost development finance institution in Nigeria, and with a vision to become the best in Africa, operating under global best practices. The theme of today's conference is empowering SMEs by addressing the funding deficit that there is with respect to how they operate. So I'm going to make the speech. I always crack the joke about the fact that I'm not a public servant, and there are protocols to be observed. But I'm not sure I want to get used to observing those protocols because it takes forever. And so all protocols duly observed. Thank you very much. I also want to say that whatever I'm going to read is the speech that has been prepared for the MD, and any error thereof or arising therefrom is mine. It cannot do any wrong. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be invited here and given the honor to present the keynote address at the second annual Young Directors Conference of the Chartered Institute of Directors. I'd like to commend the leadership of the organization for creating a platform where young leaders can build relevant managerial skills and learn the importance of good corporate governance standards. Today, I will be speaking on the topic empowering small and medium enterprises by addressing the funding deficit. A particularly timely and relevant subject considering the current national economic agenda to establish a robust and dynamic SME sector. We're no longer strangers to the immense contribution of SMEs to global economic growth and development. According to a report by the World Bank, SMEs contribute more than 50% of GDP growth and over 80% of employment in most economies. In Nigeria, SMEs contribute about 55% of the national GDP, account for about 97% of businesses, and contribute about 88% of employment. SMEs are key contributors to national production output and exports, and drive innovation through market competition. Despite the pivotal role of SMEs in national economic development, a persistent financing gap continues to hinder their growth. According to a PwC report, PricewaterhouseCoopers report, SMEs require about $617 billion of financing per annum. An IFC report on Nigeria estimates this funding gap at approximately 13 trillion naira, primarily attributed to perceived risk aversion and the lack of collateral. Additionally, the informal nature of many Nigerian SMEs, their lack of collateral and credit history, significantly increase the cost and complexity of assessing their creditworthiness. While access to finance is undeniably crucial for SMEs, it is not the sole determinant of their profitability and sustainability. To thrive and expand, these businesses must contend with a myriad of challenges, including unfavorable macroeconomic conditions, limited managerial expertise, inadequate infrastructure, and insufficient access to technology and even access to markets. These factors collectively hinder SMEs from reaching their full potential within the economy. To mitigate these obstacles, SMEs can implement several strategies to enhance their chances of securing the necessary financing. These include developing robust and viable business plans, cultivating and maintaining positive credit histories, leveraging digital technology in their operations, and collaborating with organized private sector entities and institutions to access more funding opportunities. Addressing the funding deficit issue for SMEs requires a multifaceted approach. From a financial institution perspective, it encompasses providing innovative financing solutions, implementing risk mitigation mechanisms, promoting financial literacy, and offering business advisory programs. In addition, government intervention is crucial in reforming financial infrastructure, streamlining collateral registration and enforcement processes, and improving credit reporting tools. These reforms would empower lenders and financial institutions to effectively support SMEs. Furthermore, the rise of fintech in rationalizing SMEs' access to finance through the provision of swift and efficient digital platforms like online lending, open banking, and mobile payments. These innovations are fostering a more inclusive financial ecosystem by enhancing creditworthiness, accelerating loan processing, and ultimately reducing the cost of credit. By adopting these digital tools, SMEs can also reap the benefits of streamlined and more efficient business processes such as accounting, inventory management, and tax record keeping. At the Bank of Industry, I think this is where sometimes we get very excited. We remain dedicated to our mandate of fostering SME growth and development across different sectors in the Nigerian economy. To further enhance our impact, we have prioritized 6 key thematic areas: SMEs, digital economy, youth and skills, climate, infrastructure, and gender. This approach ensures that every loan we disburse contributes to job creation, a greener economy, and overall economic growth. Permit me to mention some of our financing programs targeted towards SMEs. We recently launched the Rural Area Program on Investment for Development to support SMEs in rural areas with low facilities at an interest rate of 5% all in, a tenure of up to 3 years, and moratorium of 6 months. The program aims to ensure that small businesses in rural areas can access financial resources to generate employment, improve their standard of living, and contribute to national growth. The federal government has recently announced plans to expand the RAPID program by developing 300 new MSMEs for each state, including the Federal Capital Territory, resulting in 11,100 new rural-based SMEs nationwide. The bank has also recently signed a partnership with the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, to provide a 1 billion naira fund at a single-digit interest rate to nano and micro enterprises in Nigeria. Under the partnership, nano and micro enterprises will access a maximum of 1.5 million and 2.5 million naira respectively at a single-digit interest rate of 7.5% for working capital and 5% for term loan with a tenure of 24 months. It may interest you to note that in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, the federal government has accorded significant emphasis to developing and strengthening the MSME sector. To enhance its contribution to the economy, in November 2023, BOI was appointed the executive agency for the 200 billion naira MSME Intervention Fund, introduced by the federal government, comprising 50 billion Presidential National Grant Scheme, PCGS, 75 billion MSME Intervention Fund, and 75 billion Manufacturing Sector Fund. The PCGS is an initiative to support nano businesses nationwide, and it seeks to provide much needed financial assistance to 1 million nano businesses situated in 774 local government areas nationwide. BOI has been leveraging strategic partnerships with multilateral agencies such as the US Exim Bank, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MIGA, International Finance Corporation, IFC, and the African Growth Fund, AGF, amongst others. These collaborations are aimed at enhancing the bank's capacity to strategically support SMEs with medium to long-term finance, particularly for youth and women-owned enterprises. Beyond provision of financial support, the bank has a long-standing strategic partnership with over 300 business development service providers, BDSPs, who provide capacity building, loan packaging, business development, and mentoring support to MSMEs. Thus, businesses are better able to access loans from BOI and other financial institutions. They are also better equipped to handle the day-to-day running of their businesses. In closing, I'm confident that the discussions here today will further contribute to unlocking the pivotal role of micro, small, and medium enterprises in stimulating economic growth, creating decent jobs, and helping millions of people escape poverty and improve their livelihoods. At BOI, we believe that the achievement of inclusive growth and sustainable development in Nigeria are intricately linked to empowering SMEs. I urge us all to continue working together to unleash the potential of SMEs and drive economic prosperity for all Nigerians. Thank you for listening, and I hope we'll continue to making this a productive and engaging discussion. Thank you very much.
Okay, we can do better than that. Can we just give him another round of applause? Yes, SMEs are the life and blood of our economy, and with a lot of collaboration, with a lot of streamlined processes, good governance structures, and access to funding, which of course the BOI has said that they would give us, everyone in this room who has an SME, some type of access to financing. Thank you so much for your time and for that very insightful speech.
Thank you very much, sir. You know, I've been a huge fan of BOI, watching you guys on channels, but I'm hoping that before you go, I'll meet you downstairs to collect my own access to finance. I'm an SME, don't worry. I'll tell you what I said later. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going next to listening to the speech from the chairman of today's conference. He is the chairman at Julius Berger International, GmbH, and director at Julius Berger Nigeria PLC, shaping the construction landscape. He's also the chairman and founder of Nikon Energy Limited, the driving force behind Nest Oil Limited. He is revolutionizing Nigeria's oil and gas service industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I call to the podium the chairman of today's conference, Dr. Azudialu Obi AJC, OFR. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Standing on the protocols that have been established already, I will want to start by paying my salute to the President, the Chairman of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Directors, Alhaji Tijani M. Borodo, LLM, FCLLD. Members of the Governing Council and Executive Committee of the Institute, the Director General of the Chartered Institute of Directors of Nigeria, distinguished keynote speaker, admirable and discussants, the Chairman of the Young Directors Forum and the Executive Committee, fellows and members of the Institute, members of the Young Directors Forum, distinguished guests, associates and sponsors, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is both an honor and privilege to stand before you today as the conference chairman for this year's Institute of Directors Annual Young Directors Forum. With our team empowering SMEs, addressing the funding deficit is both timely and critical for the sustainable growth of our Nigerian economy. As many of you know, I guess, I'm the founder of O.B. Jackson Foundation and the group managing director of Nest Oil Group, a company that has grown from humble beginnings into a leading player in the oil and gas sector. Our journey has been one of resilience, innovation, and most importantly, strategic funding. Today, we gather to discuss a challenge that extends beyond individual businesses and speaks to the future of our nation. As Henry Ford wisely observed, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Just as collaboration strengthens us, our SMEs need robust support to thrive. Across Nigeria, many entrepreneurs face significant hurdles when seeking funding. That's including lack of collateral, as traditional lenders often require collateral that many SMEs cannot provide. Number two, high interest rates. Prohibitive borrowing costs make sustaining operations challenging. Number three, limited financial literacy. Many entrepreneurs lack the acumen to prepare compelling business proposals or navigate the funding landscape. Four, regulatory hurdles. Complex regulations can deter potential investors from engaging with SMEs. These challenges, unfortunately, limit not just individual businesses, but our nation's economic potential, slowing down job creation and diminishing resilience. Research indicates that over 90% of business operations in Nigeria consist of SMEs, which provide employment and opportunities for countless Nigerians. However, a lack of accessible funding stifles their growth, hindering our economy's full potential. This situation mirrors our experience at Nest Oil, which we founded in 1991. Starting with limited funding, we relied on personal savings and support from friends and family, overcoming institutional skepticism towards this oil and gas sector. The story of Nest Oil in our early days, Nest Oil faced significant funding challenges, but found a way to persevere by building trust and demonstrating capability. We grew to become a leader in the oil and gas services industry because we had the courage, the support to take on challenges, innovate, and ultimately thrive. This journey underscores the power of SMEs when they are empowered and supported. As the Igbo proverb says, "Nko dị na mba, na-eghere mba nri," which means the wood found in a community is used to cook for that community. In this spirit, SMEs are the vital wood that fuels our economic kitchen, bringing warmth, sustenance, and opportunity to our people. To address these challenges, we must create more inclusive financial ecosystems. Here are some of the actionable steps. 1, establishing SME funds. Financial institutions should create dedicated funds with favorable terms, especially for the SMEs. Number 2, mentorship programs. Successful entrepreneurs should mentor young business leaders, offering insights into funding challenges. Number 3, financial literacy initiatives. Financial education enables business owners to understand credit, manage finances, and make strategic choices. Number 4, public-private partnerships. Collaborations between government and private sector can lead to innovative funding solutions tailored for SMEs. Additionally, I call upon our financial institutions to contribute to Nigeria's economic development. They must recognize that punitive interest rates and excessive collateral demands can stifle businesses in their formative years. As we strive for a resilient SME sector, government support is vital in fostering policies that encourage an enabling business environment. In closing, therefore, empowering SMEs is more than addressing funding deficit. It's also about unlocking the entrepreneurial spirit that drives economic growth and creates jobs for our people. Let us foster an environment where today's small businesses become tomorrow's giants. With the right backing, our entrepreneurs can take on the world, creating prosperity and a legacy of empowered SMEs that contributes to a resilient Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for this attention. I look forward to engaging discussions throughout this forum. Together, let us build a bright future for our SMEs in our Nigerian economy. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
You know, I'm going to ask for another round of applause. So another round of applause for the conference chairperson. Thank you very much for that thought-provoking speech. You not only spoke to the theme of this conference, you even gave us actionable steps on how we can close the funding gap. But when he was speaking, he gave us an adage. I know the English of the adage, so I want to give a challenge to the audience. Who can give us that adage in the Igbo language the way he said it? I did not say we should laugh. I say we should say the Mr. Let me bring the mic to come and meet. So I'm just asking. No.
I have an answer for you. He will give you.
So what do you want me to give you? No, it's not number, which means the wood in a community is what is used to cook food for that community. So you cannot use wood in another community and go to another community and cook food with it. So it is the wood you have, which means what you have is what you're going to use. Okay? Your problems are going to be solved by what you have or what you're able to get within your own environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You know, it is what you have. We're going to solve the problem that you have. Sir, I have you. So you are going to solve all my problems. Another round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen. And interestingly, he has also lived to his word, because according to the website, 95% of their employees are indigenous, which means that if you find something somewhere, those who should enjoy it also are people living around that place. Thank you very much for living to your word and the likes. I remember walking past the Nestor Towers, and it was my prayer point. I just said, God, this building. I want to work on the last floor. And now you said it, that whoever is around the problem can help you solve it. So, sir, I will see you before you go.
We would like to take this time to invite up our keynote speaker and the members of the committee of the CIoD.
And the governing council.
The governing council of the CIoD, the YDF chair, for a picture upstage. Please, Sazamaz, if you could join us upstage.
Yes, a group picture. The president,
so much,
the DG.
The president, the DG.
The members of the governing council, chairman YDF. Dr. Isa Omagu, if you're still in the building. And paparazzi, please strategically position yourselves.
Just before we leave Sazamaz, we would like to also proceed with the launch of our Young Directors Forum newsletter. And we're going to hand over to the chair of the YDF for this.
Thank you very much, everyone. As a network of young, vibrant, emerging leaders, we have had to go through a series of learnings throughout the year. We've had 2 webinars where we talked about some of the issues that SMEs encounter, some of which is staff retention issues, which is cuts across all industries. We had very well-resourced persons speak to us and give advice to directors on how to manage some of these issues. We also talked about the essence of having a board, even for SMEs, no matter how small your business is, having a board or a group of well-experienced people who advise you and help you navigate issues is very important. And because of that, we've documented some of our learnings throughout the year, and we have a digest that we'll be launching. And then to assist us with the launch will be none other than the second vice president of the Chartered Institute of Nigeria, Madam Amina. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Is it morning or still morning? Good morning, distinguished directors, Mr. President, Chairman of Council, distinguished guest speaker, distinguished chairman of this occasion, and of course the chair of the Young Directors Forum, and all the distinguished members of the Planning Committee and members of their EXCO. It's my singular honor and privilege to have been asked to launch this beautiful digest. I want to make a shout out, not just to all of you who are physically present here, but of course also to all, I'm sure, I don't know how many hundreds of people are online with us today. I'd like you all to take the message out that Mr. President and Chairman of Council, that things are happening in the Chartered Institute. And the future of Nigeria is really in the hands of our young population. And the Chartered Institute of Directors recognizes that. And we're now here to formally launch this beautiful digest. Please make sure you get a copy in your hand. If you can't get a physical copy here, please go to the website where you'll get all the information that you need to access this wonderful digest, which is full of information that will help to propel your business forward. And on this basis, I formally, under the authority given to me by Mr. President, Alhaji Tijani Borodo, and also the chair of the Young Directors Forum, I hereby formally launch this beautiful digest to all of us. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ayoyinka Olajide Awusedo. I'm chair of the Conference Planning Committee. Please allow me to stand on existing protocol. But first of all, let me just thank all our supporters for coming, our sponsors, our governing council, the president, the DG, the office bearers of the CIoD, our sponsors, our panelists and speakers today, and most particularly members of the planning committee who have worked immensely hard to put all this together. So thank you very much. As we're about to go into our panel discussions, we just want to give a brief overview of what it is that we'll be talking about today. As you all know, our theme for our conference is Empowering SMEs, Addressing the Funding Deficit. We're going to have two panel discussions. Our first discussion is going to delve into the perspectives of financial institutions and capital providers. Our esteemed panelists representing traditional banks, non-interest banks, fintechs, microfinance institutions, and development financial institutions will share their insights on how they are addressing the funding gap for small businesses. This session aims to provide young entrepreneurs with a clearer understanding of the funding landscape from the viewpoint of those who provide the capital. Following that, we're going to have a second panel, which will shift focus to the young entrepreneurs themselves. It would explore their experiences in raising capital, and it will discuss the critical issue of capital and investment readiness. We expect that this panel will include entrepreneurs, business development service providers, and also business advisory firms, all of whom will share valuable insights and strategies to navigate effectively the funding landscape. Then finally, we're going to have a workshop which will be facilitated by the chair of by the head of the Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-Atlantic University. And it will be aimed at building the capacity of our young entrepreneurs. It's going to focus on how to present a business pitch, where the participants will learn how to effectively present their business ideas to potential investors and funders. It is a vital skill that will empower entrepreneurs to articulate their visions confidently and attract the financial support that they require to succeed. I encourage everyone to actively listen and participate in the discussions, ask questions during the Q&As, and also network with one another after the workshop is concluded. It's not just about sharing knowledge, it's about building connections and collaborations as well. And so please let's take the opportunity to do that. And we hope that this conference will add value, will empower our SMEs, and also build connections and collaborations that will drive our collective success. Thank you all very much for coming, and enjoy the sessions. Thank you.